Hi everyone, we're about to present our audio-visual presentation about material symbolic discourse under environmental communication theories. Before we discuss, I am Rodinho Dolan and I am Section A of Bachelor of Science in Development Communication, and my fellow reporters Salvacion Galopo and Jambi Stefes and Aldrin Diaz. So before we discuss the main topic, let's discuss first the environmental communication theories. Environmental communication is a field within the communication discipline as well as a meta-field that cuts across discipline. Research and theory within the field are united by a topical focus on communication, and human relations with environmental communication are particularly concerned with the ways people communicate about the natural world, because they believe that such communication has far-reaching effects at a time of largely human-caused environmental crisis. To continue our discussion about environmental communication, let's call Salvacion Galopo.
Environmental communications, breaking up from traditional rhetorical theory, emerged in the United States around the 1980s. Researchers began studying environmental communication as a standalone theory because of the way environmental activities used image and wording to persuade their publics. Since then, environmental communication theory has reached multiple milestones, including the creation of the Journal Environmental Communication in 2007. Environmental communication is also a type of symbolic action that serves two functions. Environmental human communication is pragmatic because it helps individuals and organizations to accomplish goals and do things through communications. Examples include educating, alerting, persuading, and collaborating. Environmental human communication is constitutive because it helps shape human understanding of environmental issues themselves and nature. Examples include values, attitude, and ideologies regarding nature and environmental issues. The topic under environmental communication theory is the...
And now I'm going to discuss about the material symbolic discourse. Researchers view environmental communication as symbolic and material. They argue that the material world helps shape communication as communication helps shape the world. The word environment is a primary symbol in Western culture. It is used to shape cultures react to the environment around them. An example is the word environment. Environment is a symbol we dominantly use in Western culture to describe the natural world in a way that our material nature and surrounds us, and it's separate from us. The symbol metaphor or environment is not only shape material and symbolic. Historical and contemporary ideas of an actions toward nature, allowing us to perceive and treat the living world as. Environmental communication scholars explain that the world environment reflects anthropocentric or human-centered cultural views of and relations with the term. At the same time, the dominant use of the term environment to describe nature helps to reproduce such anthropocentric views, reconstructing perceptions that allows for exploitive and destructive actions that continuously materially shape the biosphere. And now let's call Aldrin Diaz in addition to environmental communication.
Let's talk about the environmental communication. It's an area of communication research that focuses on how communication about the environmental shapes people's perception of the natural world, what behavior they adopt, and the policies they make. Methodological approaches to environmental communication can vary widely, coming from positivist, interpretive, and critical frameworks. Environmental communication has grown in popularity recently, reflecting broader cultural concern about the environmental problems and recognition of the connection between global and local action. This entry provides an overview of this field. Communication studies delineates some of the approaches to studying environmental communication, offers suggestions about conducting environmental communication research, and explains the increasing interest in alternative forms of scholarships and partnerships.
The last but not the least, let us call Jambi Steves to continue the discussion about the environmental communication.
Now, the International Environmental Communication Association is the latest group unifying environmental communication scholars. The association publishes the journal Environmental Communication, a journal of nature and culture. A variety of activities take place today under the banner of environmental communication. Approximately equal contributions are made by scholars using humanistic or social science methods. Some researchers focus on the study of environmental communication from a critical or analytical standpoint, whereas others develop teaching tools and instructional methods to improve environmental practice. Thus, the typical divisions within communication are present. Rhetoric versus mass communication approach, for instance. But scholars from diverse fields are also engaged in examining ways to improve communication within their own environmental subdomains. Wildlife management practitioners, for instance, have been especially interested in communication. Another way to segment environmental communication research is by topic domain. Recently, major studies have focused primarily on climate, but earlier research concentrated on topics such as nuclear power, pollution, endangered species, and rain, etc.
And that was the end of our presentation today, and that was all about the environmental communication theories and material symbolic discourse. Thank you so much, and God bless.